Hey, everybody. Welcome to season 15 of the 15-ish Minute Coffee Chat, a conversation providing tips for every entrepreneur and business owner.
Are you feeling stuck in a career that no longer fits or constantly overwhelmed balancing work and parenting? In this episode of the 15-ish Minute Coffee Chat, we sit down with certified parent coach Tammy Afriat, who helps working parents build emotionally balanced homes and shift into purpose-driven careers. Tammy shares her journey from engineering into coaching and how that bold move helped her better align her values and support other parents in transition. We're also going to dive into common struggles working parents face when it comes to boundaries and what practical steps they can take to regain control of their time and energy. So in this episode, you're going to learn how to recognize when it's time for a career shift, what healthy boundaries look like for working parents, and how emotional clarity at home supports your professional life. We cannot wait to have you here at the 15-ish Minute Coffee Chat. Hi, Selena, with your mute button on.
Man, and I was so close. But I did say hi, friend. Hi, friend. Very excited. Very excited for today's conversation because I think a little bit of, the excitement about this conversation is like we're kind of talking about parenthood and boundaries and work and how we make all of those things happen, right? And I'm kind of scared of that word boundary because I'm not good at it. And Tammy's here to kind of help with that, right?
Absolutely. I think for me, what it comes down to is like when you start a career, maybe in your younger years before you have a family, like you set certain expectations for yourself. Mm-hmm. And then when you start to add, I'm going to call them complications. That may be not the best word, but those pieces that start to complicate that trajectory you set for yourself at 22 or something like that, and it's no longer working for you, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to hear what she has to say, because it's at that point you kind of see people starting to say, oh, maybe this isn't the right place for me, maybe I should be shifting into something different because this season of my life requires a different take from me, and I want to give differently to things in my life. And so I'm excited to kind of have that conversation because it's a scary kind of place to be in.
It is. It is. Okay. Tell everybody what our call to action question is.
I will sure do that. Okay. So our call to action today is, have you ever felt like your career no longer fits who you are, or that your home life is always taking the hit? I would be really surprised if everybody was like, no, never felt that way. Everything's always perfectly balanced, because then I would know you're lying to us. Right?
Such a true. Man, we keep calling people liars on our show. I don't know what our problem is, but it's meant with a lot of love and aloha and all the things, right?
That's right.
So
maybe it's just about being honest with yourself.
Yes. And I realize a lot of times it's just that people don't have the conversation for clarity and for, I just real quick, I mean, this has nothing to do with our script today, but just when you have the conversation and you get clarity, you can make you can see a better path forward to maybe what you want, which is maybe both this career and your parenthood and the boundaries, right? My daughter just did this where she thought, I'm going to have to withdraw out of school. And I was like, you need to just have the conversation. She kept assuming things. And she was scared to talk to her professors. She talked to her professors. She came home and everybody was like, she was like, I'm not withdrawing. Talk me down. But the point is, the conversation is so important to have. And so this person, I love it because it's saying, don't not talk to somebody, or else guess what? So, okay, I'm going to bring up the bio slide so we can tell you who Tammy is just before she comes on. Mm-hmm. So let's see here. Don't mind me adding myself here. Okay, so I'm going to tell you just a little bit about Tammy. Please feel free to read the rest of her bio on our website. But Tammy is a mother of 3, ages 6 to 14, and a former engineer, became a certified parent coach. Through naturally empathetic, she was guided by societal expectations into engineering. Yet, despite her analytical background, she often felt unprepared for the emotional challenges of parenting, like handling her child's meltdowns. Tammy recognized the necessity of a different approach to parenting and began exploring various parenting styles. I don't know about you all, but I can totally relate to this.
Yeah. 100%. Absolutely.
So, okay, I'm gonna just push a button, and guess what's gonna happen? Tammy's gonna appear on the screen.
Yay! Hello, so
Hi,
good to be here.
Tammy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So before we get started, I always get excited, and sometimes we jump ahead. Let's take our coffee cup selfie.
Yes.
Absolutely. I
And
love coffee, so I
thank
wouldn't
you.
say no.
I
Oh,
need
howdy, y'all. I
coffee.
love that.
I know. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Oh, okay, let's get
And
started.
now I have to zip it. Like, it's not just
I
here.
know. Cheers, Tammy. We're going to get through this.
Cheers.
All of us are moms on the screen having a good conversation. Very excited to have a conversation about boundaries with you today. So,
To be honest, it's the best part of the day. I love having real talks over a cup of coffee. So whoever listens and is up to doing it, just, book a call with me. I love it.
Before we get started, a lot of this season, a lot of our guests we so wonderfully met at an Austin luncheon. And one of my favorite parts of this luncheon is toward the end where they encourage any of the guests to either ask, share, or, tips, the way that the 3 went. And Tammy had stood up and shared about her business and what she was doing. And I knew Anna was like, I'm really excited. We should talk, so again, another local guest here to us, Anna and I, and we're kind of very excited to have somebody so close be on our show. So thank you, Tammy.
I'm so glad I ran into you. Like,
I know.
I didn't know about you. And then once I saw it, I was like, I went and listened to a couple. Like, I binged some episode. I'm like, this is so good. The one with the band and with the one with the, I don't know how to pronounce her name. The goody one. She had a coffee and shop in the base.
Yeah,
amazing episode. So I'm really glad I came to know you.
Yes, no, we're excited. So I just want to say that just because we're saying Austin because we want people to hear, hey guys, we're near Austin. That's where Tammy is also kind of located. So we're gonna move around the squares on the screen, and we're gonna put Tammy back up, and then boom. Hi, Tammy. Welcome.
Okay.
So, all right, Anna, let's do it.
Okay, so we're going to start off with our first question. It just kind of introduces the topic that we're talking about today, which let me put my ticker back up. Supporting career transitions into purposeful work and building healthy boundaries for working parents. Whew, that's a lot in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So we better get started.
Yeah.
All right. So Tammy, our first question for you today is, what are some signs that a career is no longer aligning with someone's values or life stage? So this is kind of like that moment when people are just saying to themselves, maybe this isn't right. But what are those signs where they should really start to look at maybe digging a little deeper?
Well, I love this question. And I want to start by saying that it's not necessarily that your values have changed, but the order has changed. Because I used to be an environmental engineer and I still, care about the environment. However, as I became a parent and I started witnessing the miscommunication and misunderstanding between parents and kiddos, that's where my passion grew. So it's not about the values, it's about different priorities. And I realized, to your question, one of the signs is that my passion was no longer with the engineering, but it lives somewhere else. And a good sign that indicates is that I was all of a sudden paying attention that I'm reading not the top-notch technologies to take care of water, which that's what I did, but I'm taking workshop about parenting and reading books, and I'm almost obsessed with this new topic that I'm so involved in. So that's for me the key. It's like you have a new obsession, and maybe the why is different. Like that's another thing that I think could really help whoever works and he's asking himself, so what's the why? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And there is a great exercise that you ask yourself 5 times the why. Are you familiar with this one?
Yes, we do it I have done it with marketing when we're looking at features versus benefits. Like, why do we have that? What is it for? You continue asking the question over and over again until you really get to the core root of what it is. But tell us what it is in terms of like why in passion or purpose. Yes.
So with the why, so you wake up in the morning and you don't feel like doing whatever you're doing, and then you start diving into, so why am I doing it? And then you answer it. So for me, like, yes, I do like, treating water, but why am I doing it again? And I couldn't dive that much, but when it comes to helping people and coaching people and helping people thrive and be clear about their boundaries, there I had many whys and I could dive deeper and deeper. So that's for me one of the main things that was a great indicator that I need to change. And to be fair, it was the only impulsive decision I've ever made in my life, because I was just waking up this morning. I was like, I'm going to take a podcasting course and I'm going to be trained to be a certified coach. And that's what I did. I was like, I just have to do it. So
so go ahead, Selena.
No, I was just going to say, like, one, I'm going back to the beginning of when you said, like, it's not that your values have changed, it's that they're just in a different order. And I think what I like about that is it's still like acknowledging all of the passions that you've had and not saying, well, you don't matter anymore. Like, that passion must not mean something because it's not number one. I don't know, I resonate because it still gives a little honor to that part of your life, right? So I just wanted to make sure I said that, and I can't believe I remembered it. So, good job, Selena.
Yeah. The one thing I wanted to note about kind of what you're saying, actually, it's more of almost like a follow-up question. When you're talking to people who kind of find themselves in this stage, how frightening or fear-based is it for them to have to think about swapping careers or, going back to school, getting new certifications? Like, I mean, they might have a 20-year career behind their belt and all of a sudden just be feeling the drudgery of, this isn't my why anymore. This isn't my happy place anymore. So, I mean, what would you say to people that kind of are facing that and feeling that fear of, I'm too old, or I've been doing this too long to give it up. Now I just have to power through.
So from high level, we can say that, yes, it does. You have to be bold and say, I'm going for that. From a practical level, I would say you can start and do something as a side gig and just, offer something for free and see if it really resonates with you, if you feel that that's your strength. So that's part of the more practical aspect of, if I could hear people coming and asking me a question about parenting, or asking me, hey, do you have a resource that you trust and I can go and check it out? So I started figuring that maybe there is something there that I can really help and be as a service to other people. And yeah, it's just spark the passion more and more. So yeah. Did it answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I appreciate what you're saying is that you don't have to like put this to the side immediately and jump full force into what you're thinking about. Like, take a few steps in, dip your toes in the water and see if this is a fleeting thing or if it really is your true like next step in where you should be going and what you should be doing. And that's going to look very differently for everyone depending on what it is they're talking about. I mean, what did I do last year? I started another business last year. Okay. Like
we didn't see that one coming for sure.
We didn't. And yet it's like, it is the thing I feel most passionate about. Yeah. Right. And so now I do two things with my time. Well, more than two, but those are my main two business things. And so I can definitely see what you're talking about, where it's okay to like play the field a little bit before you commit 100% across the board.
And I do love that this, like what you're saying, Tammy, too, you don't have to be just a parent to make a big switch, in your career or life. You can be just making a big switch and listening to this other value that's moved forward, so.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So let's jump into our second question for you. I want to know from you, why do working parents struggle with boundaries? And what are some effective ways to set them? Again, this is that opening question at the beginning, right? Our call to action. And I know everybody's like, yeah, I struggle. So tell us more about this.
So I love this question. That's my whole life now. And I want to not only talk about working parents, but specifically about mothers, because I think that often mothers carry the invisible load at home and the visible leadership work, at work. So this is a really tough combo. And I think it's all stem from something that I think, Anna, you just started and you talked about it at the very beginning. We have unrealistic expectation from ourselves. We expect to be so patient with our kiddos and with the clients, and to be present with the kiddos and with the clients, and to be on top of everything, and to be 100% emotionally available to everyone. So it almost feels like it's our responsibility as women, as mothers, to we're responsible for everyone's well-being and to hold it all together at work, in the house, for ourselves, for the partner. It's like so much to do. And as a result, we feel many times that there is a guilt because we cannot thrive in any place. And we feel maybe sense of failure again, because we can't do it all. And it also adds up to a lot of stress, and sometimes leads to unhealthy dynamics in workplace, with colleagues, with partner, with kiddos, which again, we don't have even the time to dive deeper and understand how to fix that. So that's for me, like the root cause is unrealistic expectations. And that's what causes all this guilt and stress and sense of failure. And so
I feel, Tammy, I feel like you were listening in on me and Anna last week when we weren't talking work, we were talking life. I feel like you were like with me at my breakfast with my husband this morning, because you just described, I know almost most mothers feel, and how life is really for them.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think that conversation about invisible load, the emotional load that people carry is a big one, right? Because that responsibility of just even remembering the small things, like what size shoe does your child wear now? And when is it time to get them new underwear? You know what I'm saying? Like even those little things that are constantly in the back of your head that never go to sleep ever. They're just always there.
Yeah.
And I think I know we're talking about mothers, but I think men even have that in another way, right? I mean, if you look at kind of like gender roles, traditional gender roles, how they play, they have an emotional load of a different type that they carry, the provider, the protector, the provider, that kind of a thing. But I love what you're saying in terms of like, with those unrealistic expectations, we set ourselves up to fail in almost some way, because you can't possibly, like you said, you can't possibly be patient with the kids and the client, show up 100% and be emotionally available all the time for everyone that needs you. That's absolutely impossible. So
Yeah.
So,
I think this is why it's so important to have conversations, right? When we kind of pass each other and we don't talk, we can express this and maybe kind of find tools and resources to kind of like push forward from this. And just the fact that you're like, oh, Tammy, you feel this way too? Like,
you're not alone.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yes. You were wondering when your kid's next medical appointment needs to be scheduled. You too, so.
Can I just throw in one other little piece there? A lot of our listening audience are solopreneurs and work from home. So not only is that constantly there just in general, but when you're also always in the space where those things are happening, the family needs and the work needs, and there's no escape. I mean, I don't have a second house that I go to, right? I have an office and then my house. So it's kind of one of those things where that kind of adds that extra layer of, you really have to learn to set those boundaries. You really have to find that place of being able to say, I'm turning this off and I'm turning this on. And I'm not emotionally available after 9:15 p.m. Don't even try, right? I'm shutting the door.
Yeah, okay.
It is funny that you say, because that was like the first thing I want to kind of emphasize, is that when we talk about boundaries, my take on boundaries is different. For me, boundaries is not I'm saying something, you're going to be doing it. Like, that's not about it. It's about me clarifying, go back to what Selena said at the very beginning. What are my needs and want? And circling back to what you just said, Anna, so if I'm working from home and I need a quiet space when I'm working, I'm going to go get it. What does it mean? I'm going to create this room that I can close the door. I'm going to communicate to my kiddos. Well, when they close this door, please do not disturb, because that means I'm in the middle of a meeting. So when it comes to boundaries, I want for the listeners to remember that boundaries are your needs and the want. And I think that the main problem that we have is that we're not communicating the boundaries clearly. We're expecting someone to just, I don't know, guess it. But this is not the case. So I do have a workshop where I dive into like how to communicate your boundaries effectively. But for this discussion, I would love for the audience to take like 3 tangible thing to do. And so once, if you have something to say, I will go ahead and say something, and then I will kind of break it down to 3 different areas where we set tangible boundaries.
Go for it. Give us your 3 tangible boundaries. I'm going to probably even create a little ticker as you go and tell everybody so they can scroll across the screen for us. Go for it.
Okay. So I want to start with self-boundaries. I always say that I am preaching for live by love and limits. And love starts with self-love, with honoring our capacity, our emotional capacity, our time boundaries. And that's why I really like the framework of Tal Ben-Shahar, Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar. He is coming from the positive psychology. And he says that don't wait for your yearly vacation, to vent out. No, make sure that on a daily basis, you have the time to recharge. That might look like your morning routine workout, 20 minutes lunch break, and evening time where you do nothing. Like, don't do another thought of what's my next business step. No, it's like you force yourself to recharge. So that's the daily basis. Then weekly basis, take some time during the weekend. Just, no emails, no social media, and I'm doing it. It's so good. It's like I really feel recharged. I'm craving to see what happens on my social media. So it's really working. And then quarterly and yearly vacation or whatever works for you. But the main point is that you do need also those daily times for self-love.
I want to just say something to that. So one thing came to mind when you talked about self-love. A good friend of mine in Hawaii, she's a therapist, and the thing she does for herself, and I've told Anna this and we've had her on the show, she actually goes to a hotel for a weekend for herself. She checks in, no husband, no kiddos, and she just kind of takes this time for her to just kind of reset, like you said, you know what I mean? And take that daily vacation. And she tries to do it quarterly, but if not, she shoots for at least twice a year. And it's good. She said it's been great for her. So I love this. I love this tip, you know what I mean? Because we're not good at it at all.
I love what she does, because you see what she's doing. She says, I need time boundaries, so I'm taking the weekend, and I need physical boundaries, space boundary. I cannot be inside my house. It's probably not working for her. And she has the self-awareness saying, this is not working for me. That's why I'm asking and communicating to my family here. That's what I need. How can we make that work? And she makes that work. And that's amazing. So instead of, yelling at your kiddos because you're burnt out, you take some time for yourself. You space that time. And that's amazing. And then you are more capable of serving your clients and nurturing your kiddos and all the things that you want to do the way you want to do it.
So true.
Can I just throw one thing out there too? For the person on the receiving end, how important it is to realize this doesn't mean I love you less, I need you less, I don't want to be around you, right? It really is about being able to be recharged so that you can be there in the way you want to be there for that person, and honoring what that means for each other. Because when you're with your partner and they feel slighted or uncomfortable with the decisions, the boundaries you need to set for yourself in taking that time and space, that requires sometimes a big conversation to have. So I guess I'm just saying, hey, if you're on the receiving end of someone trying to set a self boundary like that, like listen with an open mind and an open heart for why do they need this? And it's not about you overwhelm me, I don't like you, you're too much, right? It's not a you thing, it's a me thing.
Well, on a practical level, always use the I statement, which is I need whatever you need. It's not me blaming you. It's not me throwing it's I need the time for myself so I can recharge and be nice to you. So that's the way I think is very helpful to approach a very effective communication.
Mm-hmm. No. Oh, that's so good. Like, I'm just thinking about little things, and don't feel bad about it. Right, Tammy? Like, don't feel bad about taking the boundary.
No, it's really, again, once you have your self-love and you're ready to give for the community, for your family, for your client, then you'll do it. If you don't, I love to think about it as the horse rider, that he has to carry the horse carriage. Mm-hmm. And if he's not eating and sleeping and resting, this is not going to go anywhere. Yes. So that's what it is. It's a practical practice to implement in life. It's a healthy habit to have.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay. These are again, I'm going to go back to, these are so important to have these conversations. And because like I said, it just kind of helps you realize when you're not by yourself, to clarity. And there's no reason to not reach out or even find something online, right? So you are just doing something, unless it's on your vacation time, your daily vacation, and you have to wait till during the week. But okay, I love this. And I don't know if we're moving on to the toolkit, but I wanted to share that Tammy just talked about time boundaries and physical boundaries. And I'm really excited because I downloaded something today that she's going to give to you all. And I read a little bit through it before the show. And it explains that I never dissected boundaries in that way. Yeah. And so, you know,
that's why I call it.
Yes. Yeah. Should we bring it up? Should we?
Well, hold on. Because she had three. Boundaries.
That's right.
One, right?
Sorry.
Yeah. Don't rush us, Selena. We got two more to go.
No, two more to go.
Okay. Two more to go. Next one, home boundaries. Okay, here it comes. So you get the clarity around your needs and wants. And also you have the clarity about what are your responsibilities, and communicate that. So I'll give you an example. If I think another thing on my to-do list is laundry, and I'm big of saying, don't wait for your children to be in college and call you and say, Mommy, I don't know how to do laundry. And you're like, it's not a rocket science. What's the issue? So here's the thing. Not only you've raised an independent kids, you take some of your task away. I'm not saying it's an easy go. It's a training. You need to get some time and coach your child around how to do it. And more importantly, you need to teach them time boundaries and to prioritize. This is the time of the week where you do it. And that's how I run it in my house. My kiddos knows once a week. It's Saturday morning. They take all the laundry, they separate the colors and load the first machine. Okay, that's how we do it, because I want to raise independent kids. And at the same time, I want to take some of my tasks off. So I think it's a really win-win situation to kind of break down all the invisible load and think to yourself. And if you don't know what would be a realistic expectation from your kids, just reach out to me and I'll give you a free download that tells you what would be a realistic expectation from your kiddos from 2 years old all the way to teenagers. So please go ahead and contact me. But the point is, first of all, delegate responsibilities, either paid pay for service or to family member.
Yeah. Oh, that is so smart. And I'm going to tell you, I did this without knowing its official name, which is the time boundary. I did this with my husband and my daughter 5 years ago. I was like, I'm done. I am not doing laundry anymore. Everybody's responsible for their own thing. And I have not done anybody's underwear other than my own, And so, I love this tip. I love this just because I resonate with the laundry. Like you said, there's many other things in the home that you can delegate, and don't be scared to do it, right? And it doesn't mean you don't care. Like Anna mentioned earlier, it doesn't mean you don't care less about your kids because you're not doing it. Because sometimes we think our acts of service is the way that we have to show them love. But yeah,
I
love this tip.
think too, we have to remember that this is setting them up for success as adulting humans, right? Good adulting humans. And you're right. They need to know how to mop a floor and do laundry and run some of those household tasks, because hopefully they're not living with you forever. Like, that's not the goal, at least not my goal.
I mean, I wouldn't mind. I want my kid to live with me forever.
So my child, like a month ago, he goes, "Mommy, when I'm going to be in college, I need to know how to, make dinner." And we have eggs for like scrambled egg. So he goes, "So today you're going to teach me how to do it." And so ever since then, now he's 6 years old. He's making his own. He's like hungry. I'm like, perfect. Make your own egg. And he do it. He's like, he knows how to do it because it's not a rocket science. Seriously. And also,
yes,
to your point, it's not only to be successful with knowing to do it, but it's prioritizing your time boundaries and organization skills. So there's a lot that goes into that. And so it's just one benefit. You have less task to do. A lot of benefits for your kiddos.
I feel like too, like your kids are so much more capable than you might think that they are, right? Mm-hmm. They are smart and capable and can learn quickly. And so I love this because giving them that opportunity to accept their responsibility is a big step. And a lot of times, if you can key in on those ages where they're excited about that independence, you can offload a ton of stuff.
And really start earlier on when it seems like a play, because as a teenager, they already like, oh, why should I do it? It's the attitude that is there by definition. It's so hard to implement new things. So start as early as possible. Yes. And again, they can cut salad. Even 5 years old, they can cut, cucumber. They can do it.
Yes. I want to relate this to entrepreneurship or being a small business owner is when you can do this and create these home boundaries, that kind of emotional load that you had talked about earlier, that helps offset, right? Because now you've created this and you've opened up a little bit of space so that you can kind of direct what you need to direct toward your work. And so it all plays together, everybody. I mean, it all has a reason, right? So, okay, let's go to the third one. Oh, yes. Yeah, third one.
Yes. Tell us the third
client boundaries. Yay, so important. Okay, so with client and like work, I think the keywords is being proactive. What does it mean? It means that if I'm a coach, I'm not going to wait for a client to get so upset because I didn't reply immediately. I'm going to set the boundaries, set the expectation ahead of time and say, hey, you know what? I'm checking my emails twice a day and I'm committed to respond within 12 hours, 24 hours, whatever works in your business. But I'm saying being proactive and say the expectation. And so you can find the people that, when in relationship, it's not the right or the wrong. It's about what works for the best for the two of you. So you would find the clients that fits good for them. And the other thing would be, don't be afraid of negotiation. They might see that's not going to work for me. And, you just talked about, we work sometimes online or we work in person, and our client could say, yeah, but I'd rather see you in-person session. And so I need to be clear with my boundary and say, am I willing to be flexible and do it and offer that? Or the answer is, I'm sorry, but this is not a good time for me to offer an in-person session. And I can, I can refer you to other people. But the point is, be proactive and don't be afraid of negotiating.
I love this. I love this tip because let me tell you, not every client is made for you, right? And I think people get nervous about that. Like, if I set this boundary, it's going to turn people away. If it turns someone away, they probably weren't going to be, they were going to be that client that you're agonizing over, you're feeling anxiety and stress over, that you're, that you probably aren't serving best anyway, because they aren't a client that fits within let's go back to your value set, right? That value set you have in play currently. So I think that is so smart. Let me tell you who's really good about that. Selena is really good about setting client boundaries and helping me remember, like, hey, these tasks need to happen first, then we can roll into this client. Remember, this is a, whatever kind of contract that we have, and we don't have to jump and stay late and do this. We can work on it tomorrow morning, kind of thing. But she also does that with a lot of generosity and love and kindness towards the client, right? So there's, whereas for me, I'm like, if we don't do it right away, maybe they're going to leave, I don't know. And I think that just comes with, like, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. What does it come with, Selena? Why do you do that and I don't?
No, well, first of all, thank you for even saying that, bestie. Like, I had no idea you thought that way of me. I mean, I've learned a lot of that from her. Wait, Tammy, you put your finger out. I want to know what you're going to say.
Yeah, I want to say to Anna, if you want, I have a take on that.
Ooh, I want to hear it, Tammy.
I think that when we operate from a place of having a lot of external validation and external feedback, then we are not being true to ourselves, and we are afraid of setting those boundaries. And when we do it from a place of love, that's why I say love and limits, because we do it from a place of love. I love the client and I want the client to have the best service he could ever have. So if I sense that I'm not a good fit for him, I'm not afraid of saying, you know what, maybe I have another person that can serve you like perfectly. It will be a perfect fit for you. So that's my take.
I love that take a ton. And I'm going to remember that, love and limits. Like, I think that's a fantastic way to kind of like reel yourself back in, right? Like,
well, and it even fits what I said about you, right? I said you do it with a lot of love toward our client. I wasn't headed that direction. It was not because maybe it subconsciously is set in my head from the very start of our conversation, Tammy. But you do that, Selena. And I do think maybe that external validation is a thing, right? It's the imposter syndrome, the idea of, I need to feel like I am making a difference, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I really love this.
You know what? It's not only I'm making a difference, it's that I can make a difference, but I don't have to make the difference for every single person on earth. That's the thing. Like, I don't need the external validation. Every single person says, wow, this is brilliant. You're such, like, it's not like some people will not perceive the message that I want to give them in the way that I want it to be given. So that's okay. With compassion and curiosity, I can treat other people and be really mindful of what will be the best fit for them.
Yeah, no, I totally, and I think it's the communication. And sometimes we assume the worst. We assume they're going to be like, well, you're awful when you communicate that. And when you're like, hey, we'll get back to you, like you said, in 24 hours. And they're like, okay, no problem. I understand. Like, that's how you run your business. And I have a client that just had said that, like, I understand what you have said, and I breathed easier because I thought I was advocating for myself, but I thought I was like on a hill, like marching, like I had to do something. She was like, yeah, no problem. Thanks for just letting me know. So, you know what I mean? Sometimes they just need assurance. So look, we are getting close to the end of the show, and I have to push us to the toolkit. So I want to bring up, because I'm so excited about this. Let me see. I'm going to push a couple buttons. So we're going to see what happens here. Okay, everybody. So don't freak out. Okay, there's Tammy. And then we're going to bring this up, and then I'm going to do this. And I want to share that, Tammy, you created this, and this is what I talked about when you're sharing that first tip. Tell everybody what this is and why they need it, and what's inside of it.
So I call it the Love and Limits cheat sheet. And it's really, I think, the 3 top boundaries that resonate the most and like most important for business owner and parenting work, and like working parents. And so I divided this script into the thing that you would say at your home setting and at work setting. So I make it as tangible as possible. So you can, instead of think, oh, what should I say? You will just have those script ready for you to go. You don't have to think, just save it to your phone and just pull it up and use it. And again, I'm doing it myself with love and limits because that's what I really believe in. And so I hope that people learn and love the idea of living by love and limits.
There is something in there I might want to put on a t-shirt. So I don't even have to say it. I just turn and I point at the t-shirt and I'll be like, Tammy said to tell you, so I really do encourage you to grab it. And honestly, when I read it, Tammy, it could go either way. If you're not a parent yet, there is still some really valuable stuff in here. Because look, we all need boundary coaching. Period. So thank you for creating this. And again, you can find this on our website. We will have a link to it in the podcast description, on the YouTube description. Anna and I are going to look at it together and go, are we at a physical boundary right now? Are we at a time boundary right now? Where's we at?
Well, just to let you know, there are 6 types of boundaries, but that's something that I'm diving into in my workshop. And so this is more accurate because I didn't want to bombard people with too much things.
Well, see, look here, that gets us to kind of this part, right? So if you want to know more and you want to learn more about the more than just 3 things, Tammy, tell everybody where they should go find you. And again, all of this stuff will be on our website, in every description on YouTube and on our podcast description. So you'll be able to find her. But where's your favorite place to hang out?
So I'm mostly active on Instagram. However, I also on Facebook and LinkedIn, and my podcast also have a YouTube channel, which I sometimes upload little short videos. But main thing I would say, contact me if you need any quick fix for something. Just text me. I will be more than happy to provide you. If I have a freebie that anyway I'm giving out, just write me. And if you need some more deeper dive, then I invite you to take a look on my workshops or one-on-one coaching, because all of them are really prepared with love and limits to serve the people and help them redefine what are boundaries.
I love that so much.
Thank you so much, Tammy, for sharing all that amazing information. I love the 3 boundaries that we just talked about today. I did not download your worksheet, but I'm going to do that now because Selena and I are going to talk about it.
No.
Well, tell me what you think about it. I always like to hear feedback.
Oh, I will. We're going to do a follow-up, like Selena and I talking about you and your workbook.
We are.
Your download.
Yeah.
All right. This is my turn to take over and say thank you so much. Tammy, thank you so much for being here with us on the 15-ish minute coffee chat. What a fantastic conversation we've had today. And for everyone out there listening, thank you for joining us today. As always, you can find us at AnnaandSelena.com. We love to be on LinkedIn. You can also find us on Facebook or Instagram. And always subscribe, and follow on your favorite podcast platform. And we'll see you at the next 15-ish minute coffee chat.
Bye.
Bye.